Welcome to exercise freehand drafting. This exercise, you will need your assignment sheet. You will need number 2 pencils. You'll need a grid pad, an architectural rule, and you'll need to have a triangle or an adjustable triangle. It doesn't really matter. Either one is fine. And then you'll need your flare pen and your pilot pen for this exercise. Now, this is going to be the first exercise that we're going to apply our standard title at the bottom of our page. And I want to make sure that I can see this. Yes, I'm going to put it up just a hair. Excuse the movement of the screen. All right, so what I'm going to do is, based on the handout that gives you the standard, oops, I don't need both of these, that gives you the standard layout, what we're going to do is come up 1 inch and 1 inch, and then we're going to come over 1 inch and over on the other side 1 inch. And we're going to put a guideline. We're going to work with guidelines. And remember, guidelines are soft as they possibly can be with our straight edge. And it just happens that it falls right here on this line. Then I want to go up about 1/8 of an inch. I want to go up about 1/8 of an inch. And then 1/4 inch for my guidelines. This will be my title guideline. So up 1/8 and then up 1/4. Then on the bottom, we want to go down 1/8 and then another 1/8 of an inch. And down 1/8 and then 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my guidelines, and these will be my guidelines for my title when I get to that point. And then the bottom 1/8 inch guidelines are for my name. We always write our name at 1/8 inch scale. There we go. And the bottom guideline. And if you want to go ahead and just put in that inch so you know where to start and where you know where to start. Okay, now I know where my title's going to go, so I can arrange all of my drawing up on the top part of the piece of paper. But this way I don't draw over the top of them. And really just kind of spread out all of the areas. So the first thing that you want to do is, our first thing, we're drawing plan views. That's when we look down on something, straight down. So the first thing it asked me to draw, and remember, I'm working with my 3/8 inch scale. So that's this scale right here that says 3/8 of an inch. And if you've watched the video on how to read a scale, we always start at 0. Our inches are on this side, our feet are on this side. So at 3/8, that's 1, 2, and this is the smaller scale on this row. So the numbers, the smaller numbers are the ones for the 3/8 inch scale. So this is 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, etc., etc. So the first thing that it asked me to draw is a rectangle that is 5 feet by 4 feet. So I'm going to just use my grid because this is 1/4 inch, 3/8 doesn't measure out. So I'm not going to count squares, but I'm going to start here and I'm going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet. And then I'm going to start at another straight line, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 by 5. And I'm just going to allow the grid to kind of help keep my line straight and square. And I'm going to just draw my line in very, very lightly, what we call guidelines. And these are only as dark as they need to be. So that's one object. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a title on here at 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to measure 1/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to write the title that's on the sheet. The second object that I need to draw is a lounge chair. And a lounge chair typically has arms, but it is 1, 2, 3 by 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm just going to lightly put in the guidelines. That may be hard for you to see, but I'm drawing the lines very, very lightly. Now, the only way that I know that I'm gonna go ahead and write a title on here. I'm gonna put it at the same height. And I'm gonna do this title, because these are smaller titles, I'm gonna just do it at 1/8 inch scale, or an 1/8 inch dimension. Now, a rectangle has no character to it at all. It has 4 sides. Right now, my chair here looks like a rectangle. I don't know that it's a chair until I add some elements that makes it look like a chair. So I'm going to add a back, and I'm going to add some arms. And that will help to give it the look of a chair. Now, in this plan view, remember I'm looking down on it. So I have a back and I have 2 arms. So the other 3 objects, there's a total of 5. You're going to draw a round table, you're going to draw a coffee table, and you're going to draw a king-size bed. So the king-size bed's probably the largest, so you want to make sure that you leave plenty of room for it. So once I have all of that work done on my sheet of paper, all of it done with my guidelines, I'm going to come back in, and with my Flair pen, I am going to just freehand trace my guidelines. I'm going to go right over the top of my guidelines. Just like that. And remember, I want to kind of cross my corners when I'm doing that. Here is my chair. Around the perimeter of the chair, I'm going to do it in the Flair pen. Oop, went a little too far. Then, if I have any details inside of that, remember I said I added the back and the arms, I'm going to do that with my Pilot pen. And I'm just going to add, so we start to get some character from a freehand drafting standpoint. So this is my rectangle, so I'm just going to call it rectangle. And this is my lounge chair. Now, remember, this is to be done in your best handwriting, That'll remind us what we have here. So I would also refer you to the attachment that I've put in here, which is furniture and accessories in plan view and in elevation. It might help for you to review that before you start actually drawing. So go ahead and add the other 3 elements that are on here. And when you're done with adding those, you're going to go down to the bottom again. I'll just lift this up a hair so I can, sorry, that didn't work. Hope that doesn't make you nauseous. So what you're going to, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm moving this. You're going to go ahead and fill out the title. And the title of this sheet is Plan View and then because that's 1/4 inch height, I use my Flair pen. My name then goes under that at an 1/8 inch height, so that's Chuck. Your best handwriting. in your best architectural handwriting. And then the line that is in between, I'm just going to use my sign pen because I happen to have it out. And again, I'm just going to trace over the top of my guideline. So this would be page 1. Page 2 then would be the elevation views. And there's a whole set of requirements, 5 objects that you need to draw in the elevation views. So first, don't forget to watch the video, How to Read an Architectural Scale, if you're not familiar with that. Second, you want to draw the standard title block, and that is on the handout that's listed in your Canvas site. And then you want to draw each one of the objects on the page, kind of spaced out well enough, and then put a title in at 1/8 of an inch high. Alrighty, good luck with this. Thank you.